Hey guys, and welcome. Just wanted to do a quick video on the fires in Southern California. And maybe some of you guys are seeing this on the news all over the world, all United States, and wondering, of course, we're not affected by it here where I'm at. There's no fires, but there are in places like Pasadena, which is not really a fire zone place at all. But I'm going to explain to you, maybe a lot of people have conspiracies maybe about what's happening or whatever. There's all this stuff, guys go, hey man, California doesn't manage their forests and all this stuff. And I'm not going to disagree with some of that. But there's also people that are going to go, oh, it's all climate change. Listen, here's what's going on. All right. To both sides of it, that's what people are going to be arguing over maybe. But here's really what's going on. Normally, all the time, every year, we have winds. We have like Santa Ana winds. You guys maybe have heard of that. The Santa Ana winds come and then they blow. Usually what they do is they'll blow only in a particular corridor. So the Santa Ana winds most of the time will blow like a lot in, say, where I live. I get a lot more winds probably than they do in Riverside, where I'm at. They get a lot more winds maybe than they do normally in those areas. And when it's periodic, sometimes they'll get the wind and we won't. And sometimes, most of the time it's more we get the wind and they don't. And sometimes, like where I live up in the hills, I'll have no wind. And then I'll go down into the city and there'll be crazy wind. Right now, what's happening is there's wind everywhere. Okay, there's wind in Riverside County, San Bernardino County, wind in Pasadena, LA, and so it usually comes from the desert, further out in the desert, and then it goes through the canyons. And typically, what happens is when it goes through the canyons, that's where it picks up speed, and those were the most affected areas. But for some reason, what's happening is the wind is going all over. So, and it's extremely high winds. And typically the way that people out here fight a fire is, these types of fires is helicopters, and we have these big giant jets, okay? Like in San Bernardino Airport, I think they house one of them. It's like an old DC-10. And what they do is it's a tanker. And this thing just comes in and just massively just brings in Phos-Chek and whatever and just wipes these things out very quickly. But they can't fly them right now. So, my thoughts are out to the people in Altadena. My daughter lives in Eagle Rock, and they just got evacuated there. So she's just staying here hanging out, but she's really worried about it. And I don't really think she's got anything to worry about where she is. And there's no foliage around her house or her apartment or whatever. But some of the ones that I see the most damage on are ones that had, a lot of foliage. But there's some like, the Bank of America and I know that bank well in Altadena. There's no foliage there. So the building next to it got on fire, and it just eventually transferred to the bank. It's probably through the roof or something like that. So there just isn't enough people there to fight it. They don't have enough resources. The resources they have are not able to be used. So it's really it's a perfect storm. Okay, it's not because of climate change. It's not because of California doesn't manage their forests, and we do have too many trees per square foot. There's no doubt about that. It's not managed correctly. That's why we have the forest fires. But this is not a forest fire. So there's going to be all this conspiracy stuff, but none of that stuff's true. It's just a perfect storm. We don't normally get this stuff. The other thing that's happened is this, it's going on is normally we get some rain in December. Usually some point in December, usually between Christmas and New Year's, almost every year, or just before Christmas sometimes, or just after New Year's, and we're kind of after New Year's a little bit here. Usually we'll get some rain. Didn't happen this year. So it's super, super dry. We have super dry air. We have lots of wind, okay? And we have, you know, incredible amounts of wind. And I don't know how the fire started. And I don't know if it was from the same one fire and the embers blew to the others. I don't think they are, because they're pretty far apart. The one in Rancho, or the one in where is that? Right near the beach. The one it's becoming. It went into Malibu. It started in right near there. Pacific Palisades is right near Malibu, so it kind of blew that direction. And it's kind of weird because usually the winds blow out to the ocean, so it's kind of strange that it would go north. So I don't know. It does weird stuff. Wind does some crazy things here. So we don't normally get that kind of wind everywhere. So we might get a couple fires. A lot of times where I live, we'll get a fire, and then, you know, there won't be anything going on over there because they don't have wind. But it's kind of weird that it's just everywhere. And it's just, like I said, it's a perfect storm. There's nobody to blame. It's not a, you know, I don't know if they're arson or whatever. Maybe not. Yeah, I have no idea. I haven't looked into that. But it's just, that's what's happening. So I just wanted to make this video because I know that people are curious. People are wondering what's going on. And that'll kind of help clarify, you know, when you look at this whole thing and put it in perspective, you might be able to understand what's going on. It's just because it's just like everything happened at the same time. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys if you're looking at the fires. And no, I'm not affected. You know, my daughter kind of, and that's city, you guys. That area is completely city. There's no like vacant land at all in those areas where the houses are burning. The ones in Malibu, yeah, the ones are in Malibu and in where is that? Pacific Palisades. Yeah, there's a lot of vacant, lot of heavy foliage there. So that and Malibu burns a lot. So because, you know, because there's a lot of vacant land. But the one in Pasadena area, there's nothing there. It's really weird. But there's old homes. A lot of them are made of wood. Okay, there's old homes, and there's a lot of really aged trees, and trees that might be 100 years old, trees that might be, you know, 70 years old, houses that are 100 years old. And, you know, typically they burn a little bit easier probably than some of the others, but you'll see there's stucco houses. There's, you know, it's really not good. It's pretty bad, you know, so, but it's not, again, it's not affecting us. And in my thoughts and prayers go to the people that are in out there in that area, because it's just unprecedented. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Please like, share, and subscribe, and share your thoughts.